Today we're looking at RapidRaw version 1.5.5. This video is an overview of the layout and various features of RapidRaw. I'll keep it as quick as I can for you. So this is the home screen which you'll come into when you first load up RapidRaw. It allows you to change the folder from where you get your photographs from. Simply click on it and you can choose where you get your photographs from. I've already done this, so we'll just continue the session once I've finished with this page. Then you have the settings, which are here. We won't touch these at the moment, although these are slightly tweaked to my liking, but that will be in the next episode. When you continue the session, it shows you your folders on the left, and it shows you your library in front of you. So you just click on the folder, and obviously it changes what things are. We'll go back to another one and just to flick through them, and it's really easy to use. So we have a search function which we use to search for our files, and then we have our little settings inside the program which allows you to change the size of your thumbnails. I quite like the large ones so I can see what's going on. You can change the way they fit into the library, and you can change whether it's current folder or recursive folders. You can select by ratings. You can select by the types, whether it be raw files or non-raw files, which is really handy. And obviously your sort. Then you have your community presets, which takes you to the presets, which I don't use, not community ones anyway. Then you have to open another folder, and of course you can go back to the home screen. Today now I'll just show you quickly inside an image. So if I double click on an image, it brings up your photo. I'll come out of it and I'll choose another one. And I can make it bigger by removing this left hand panel. So you have a nice large area to edit your photographs. You have the main part then on the right hand side, which is your adjustments. So you start with your basic adjustments, which are obviously the things that are important, such as your exposure, contrast, highlights, shadows, whites and blacks. You can do a quick fix by clicking this button here, which is your auto adjust. I find that it's pretty accurate, but I like to just bring down the exposure just a little bit. Underneath that you have the curves. You can work in a standard curve, or you can use the simplified curves, which is quite handy for doing little adjustments. Whichever works for you best, that's all you should be using, because we all work differently. You've got your color panel, which gives you the white balance, the temperature, which is handy to change the temperature, obviously. You get the tint, you got your vibrance and saturation, which works as such. And then you have your color grading, which is obviously very handy as well. So you have a couple of selections on your color grading. I like to just leave it as the default, where you can change your midtones, as you can see, your shadows you can change, or your highlights. Plenty of options, which makes things much easier when you're editing. And my favorite part is the color mixer, where you can change the hue of certain colors. So if you don't like the red so much, you can change them to whatever color you wish to do. This is very handy for tweaking colors and for making different presets. You can also adjust their saturation and the luminance. Definitely one of my favorite sections of any photo editor, and it works surprisingly well with RapidRaw. Next on the list we have our details, where we can sharpen the image. You can add clarity, dehaze, structure, and this center or centre, as it may be in French, which just lifts the image highlights or drops the image highlights. Quite a nice feature actually. I've never seen this before, but it works well. Then you have the noise reduction, which is obviously to reduce any noise should you have any. If I zoom in to a heck of a lot, there we go. I had to zoom in then to 281% because I don't actually get much noise on my Nikon ZF, so I rarely use this. Double click on the image and that brings that there. There are more options. If you right click on the image, you've got various options, which you can also find some of them over here on the right. Click on productivity. You've got your auto adjustments. Denoise. This does take a minute or two, but it does a nice job of denoising. You've got convert your negative, merge to HDR, stitch panorama, frame the image. You can actually add frames. So I just click on that and you can add different frames to it. Not use that, but it looks useful. Tagging, you can tag your things, and obviously you can reset all your adjustments. Moving over to the right, you have your crop, which gives you your aspect ratios, gives you your rotation, which you can rotate, or you can use the line to draw, whichever you find easiest. You can rotate the image left and right, you can flip it horizontally, etc. The transform tool is handy if you need to change your distortion. If you've got a lens which isn't listed, I do various different adjustments with that, and of course the lenses. Auto detection doesn't seem to work at the moment. It was working, but it has stopped in this version. But luckily enough, I have my lenses here, so I just click on them and it's the same. Below the crop, you have the masking. There's a nice little masking. You've got subject, sky, foreground, linear, radial, and a few other ones. I'll go into depth on these in another video, but they're very good and very handy. Then you have your in painting. So if you want to remove something, you can just click on one of these items again, and it will remove part of the picture. You have the presets. I've got my own little preset, which I use for a retro look on my skies and my summer pictures. Very handy. And then you have your export, where you can just export your file to JPEG, PNG, TIFF, WebP, JPEG XL, AVIF, Cube. It's handy having the cube LUT because LUTs are very handy. You've got the various different sections, and of course you can just export. There we go. The little I button here just gives you all the details about your image, which is handy again. You also have your histogram. You can also have your clipping warnings, so you can see what's clipped and what's not clipped. And you have different versions of different histograms. And there we have it. A quick look, a quick overview of RapidRaw 1.5.5. Thank you.